This is a Russian assault soldier in a Ukrainian forest. And here are two Ukrainian Su-24 fighter jets, which, according to preliminary information, are dropping bombs on those very assault units. Excellent hits. The enemy infantry is clearly not happy about it. Fighter bombers are versatile combat machines capable of performing both strike and fighter missions. In the context of the war in Ukraine, their role has become especially crucial. They deliver strikes on enemy frontline positions, destroy equipment, provide cover for ground forces, and even participate in strategic operations. However, the situation is evolving. Thanks to international support, Ukraine has already received modern aircraft like the F-16, significantly enhancing the capabilities of its air force. Despite challenging conditions and the presence of a powerful enemy air defense system, Ukrainian aviation has demonstrated remarkable effectiveness. Through the modernization of equipment, the use of precision weapons, and tactical flexibility, Ukrainian pilots have inflicted significant losses on the enemy. And here is an example of a Ukrainian soldier shooting down an enemy aircraft. The acquisition of modern aircraft, such as the F-16, opens up new possibilities. These machines not only outperform older equipment in their capabilities, but also allow for the integration of advanced missiles and targeting systems. This is already beginning to shift the balance of power in the skies. Helicopters are also critically important. For example, here's footage showing the crew of a Ukrainian Mi-8 helicopter pursuing, targeting, and shooting down a Russian-Iranian heavy kamikaze drone, the Jaran-2, using fire from an onboard machine gun. The successful interception of the Garan took place in the Zhytomyr region and was monitored from another aircraft. The gunner hit the drone's fuel tank, causing it to rapidly lose fuel. The enemy drone, after being hit, crashes and detonates outside the city in a safe area near the border with Belarus. Brilliant work by Ukrainian aviation. These are the aftermaths of JDAM bomb strikes on Russian depots containing equipment and ammunition. Recently, our forces targeted and destroyed an entire battery of 220mm BM-27 Uragan MLRS systems. You can also see Russian fighter jets that were flying to intercept the Ukrainian aircraft responsible for dropping the bombs. Ukrainian aircraft are also highly valuable because they can report various reconnaissance data on enemy positions. This allowed them to provide critical information to the operators of the M142 HIMARS, which successfully destroyed an enemy BM-21. Here are two Ukrainian fighter jets that destroyed a Russian Su-25 ground attack aircraft. This plane had been bombing civilian homes and infrastructure. By examining the tail section, it can be identified as the same aircraft. Thus, it can be concluded that aircraft can perform a variety of combat missions. The video shows the destruction of an enemy stronghold. The fire was adjusted by aerial reconnaissance. A MiG-29 strikes with 8 SDBs, simultaneously at a location where Russian assault groups and ammunition were concentrated. The Russians were preparing to storm Ukrainian positions, but this time, their plan failed. Ukrainian fighter bombers play a critically important role in the defense of the country. Despite the challenges, both pilots and their aircraft continue to prove their effectiveness. Their actions on the front lines inspire millions and demonstrate that success can be achieved even in the most difficult conditions. It releases the bomb onto a building where Russian military supplies were stored. The mission is clear: destroy the building where, according to intelligence, the enemy's most crucial military supplies are stored. The Su-27 maneuvers at altitude, getting closer to the target. The JDAM bomb's navigation system is already set to the target coordinates. Its GPS guidance ensures a precise strike regardless of any attempts to evade or camouflage the target. The bomb penetrates the building, consuming everything around it. When it hits its target, the ground trembles from the powerful explosion. Metal, concrete, and stone fly in all directions, creating a cloud of ash and debris. In this video, a Ukrainian aircraft delivers a precise strike on enemy trench positions, preparing for further clearing by infantry, an impressively executed operation. Strike after strike, the shells hit the trenches. Survival is nearly impossible, as the pressure inside is incredibly intense. Here, we see the work of Ukraine's aviation in tandem with the well-known M142 HIMARS. Accurate strikes are delivered, causing significant damage to the enemy. There are many impressive hits. The Ukrainian armed forces used HIMARS systems to target more than 400 objectives in the first months after their arrival in the country. These strikes, utilizing high-precision rockets, significantly weakened Russian artillery and logistics, playing a crucial role in the confrontation on Ukraine's eastern front. The primary use of these aircraft is to strike key enemy infrastructure targets, such as command posts, ammunition depots, and military equipment. One of the main challenges for Ukraine is the limited number of combat aircraft and the need to counter enemy forces in modern warfare, where drone technologies and air defense systems are becoming increasingly significant. This is the destruction of 2 Russian pontoon crossings over the Sime River in Kursk by the HIMARS system. GMLRS and ATACMS missiles with cluster and high-explosive warheads strike the decking, engineering equipment, and sappers. Earlier, Ukrainian aviation destroyed 3 bridges over the Sime with bombs. This is a video of a JDAM bomb strike on a Russian command post located in Donetsk region. After such a strike, it's unlikely anyone could have survived there. This was likely a strike with guided aviation bombs on a location where a Russian assault battalion was stationed. There were 2 hits. After the first strike, Ukrainian soldiers waited for the occupiers to arrive at the site to retrieve their comrades from the debris, and then delivered the second strike. According to preliminary information, the building housed mobilized troops from Siberia. Great work. To strengthen its strike capabilities, Ukraine is actively working on modernizing existing aviation assets and enhancing its air force capabilities through foreign supplies. The Su-24 can carry up to 8 tons of payload. It is capable of using both bombs and missiles, including guided munitions. Standard bombs range from 500 kilograms to 1,500 kilograms, but lighter cluster or precision-guided bombs can also be deployed. As you can see, the potential of Ukrainian aviation is vast. Ukrainians are utilizing their air force to its full capacity. Here are more footage of powerful strikes on the locations of Russian military forces. After the Russian authorities announced the evacuation of civilians from the border areas of Kursk region, the enemy actively occupies civilian facilities in populated areas for defensive actions. Ukrainian forces see and know everything. Precision-guided bombs will reach you anywhere. Thanks to the pilots of the tactical aviation of the Air Force for their successful strikes on enemy concentrations, equipment, and positions of the occupiers. This is, by the way, an airstrike with a GBU-39 guided bomb on a building with occupiers in Kursk. And this is the destruction of an enemy ammunition depot and command post with 3 such bombs. This video shows 2 Russian Su-34 bombers conducting strikes at ultra-low altitudes with free-falling bombs on a hangar at a border checkpoint in Belgorod region, Russia. The bombers miss their target, and the bombs fall in the field, hitting empty ground, leaving the building intact. This is a fine example of Ukrainian aviation's precision work in eliminating enemy forces who had taken refuge in empty buildings. The strikes were carried out just before Ukrainian forces entered the village, ensuring that the enemy positions were neutralized and reducing the threat to the advancing troops. The precision of the airstrikes highlights the effectiveness of Ukrainian military aviation, using advanced technology and tactics to protect their forces and disrupt enemy operations. Surviving an airstrike with a guided bomb while being inside a building is extremely difficult, especially if the strike hits a residential or otherwise vulnerable structure. Guided bombs, such as the GBU-12 or heavier models, are capable of penetrating concrete and brick walls, destroying buildings. They create massive blast waves, accompanied by strong shock waves and thermal impulses. The strike can demolish most of the building, causing the collapse of ceilings and walls. The farther a person is from the epicenter of the strike, the higher the chance of survival. However, even if they are located several dozen meters away from the explosion's center, the shockwave and debris can still pose a fatal threat. Survival in an airstrike depends on many factors, but in most cases, especially when the strike hits vulnerable buildings, the chances of survival are extremely low. Thus, Ukrainian aviation is currently at a relatively high level, despite the challenges posed by the war with Russia. It mainly consists of outdated but modernized Soviet-era aircraft and helicopters. In a few years, Ukrainian aviation is likely to become more modern and diverse. With the delivery of Western fighter jets, strengthening of air defense systems, and the development of drones, Ukraine will be able to significantly enhance its capabilities in aerial combat and offensive operations, improving the defense of its skies and posing a more effective threat to the enemy.